Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing our weekly, I guess in this case it's bi-weekly, Katsu deck tech update. I decided to do it digitally just because it's easier. I like being able to see the cards and explain them. Anyone who's been following the channel knows I have these cards, so I'll kind of switch from top down to top up. But for this, it's been 2 weeks since I did my last one, and the reason for that is I moved to Dallas, the Dallas Square, Dallas area. So been handling the move, doing all that stuff. So I didn't get a chance to do it last week because I was too focused on packing up and doing all that stuff. So I apologize for that. But going into it, I wanted to say I've done some testing, done some decent amount of games regardless. Especially this past week, and really also saw what some Katsus were doing that was seeming to work in the ProQuest season. We've had 2 winners at the time of this recording, and we've had 14, 15 top 8s counting those winners. So some pretty good successful Katsus, and then also kind of with my own testing and where I'm thinking things are going. So really quick, the reason I made some of these changes because obviously the Starvo meta is really big, but as Starvo starts to die down, and he will die down because they'll get some counters, Prism is going to be very prevalent in the meta. I think that Viscerai obviously is going to be very prevalent in the meta and all other stuff. So a lot of these changes were with that in mind, even Lexi in a way. So getting into it, right? As far as equipment, nothing really changed. I'm still running the same loadout. I finally got my tunic for anybody that's crazy and is like, what the heck, you don't have a tunic, you're a Katsu player. Yes, not everybody can spend the money on a tunic, but I have got a tunic. I've played with tunics before. I've proxied them. I've played with, other friends' tunics and stuff like that. And I always used Heart and Cross Trap anyway, because prior to about 3 months ago, I was like straight aggro, never went mid-range, never did anything like that. So I didn't really need a tunic because I always use Heart and Cross Trap anyway. But now I have tunic in the sideboard for certain matchups that require a more mid-range style. Other than that, nothing really changing. Still using the Snapdragon scalers. I'm toying with Breeze RBs just for fun, but as of right now, it's still Snapdragon scalers. Getting into the deck, so we'll start with cards that aren't attack actions, which most people know that I run. So normally what I ran were 3 red even bigger than that, 3 ancestral empowerments, 3 razor reflexes, and a lunging press, right? So if you've watched my videos before, I run 10 cards that are not attack actions. What I ended up doing was adding 2 more. So I added 2 yellow even bigger than that. Even bigger than that's just straight gas. The yellow I've not liked as much because there is a higher chance of whiffing, as well as I like being able to fix my card draw, like pick what I could possibly draw off mask, as well as kind of fix my next hand. So I have enjoyed that. But the yellows, like, they're too good not to add in a couple. So I'm running 5 even bigger than that. I run all 5 in most matchups. The only time I take them out is I'll take out yellows in the Prism matchup. I'll keep reds in because if they want to make a Spectral Shield, that's fine. But the fact that I have even bigger than that in the deck as a threat makes them make those shields. So now they're just wasting pitch in order to make shields, and I can continue with my game plan anyway. And then I can just use the reds. If they keep making shields on me, I'll just use the reds to discard for Katsu. So it's really not that big a deal. But I keep the reds in for Prism matchup. For the Guardian matchup, if it's Starvo, I still keep the reds in. Yes, he has Crown, but he doesn't Crown as often as Oldheim does, or it's frequent because he doesn't always want to get rid of his arsenal depending on the card. So the only time I'll sub them all out is against Oldheim. Obviously, it's just you're not going to get the card off if Oldheim's playing properly. So yeah, added 2 yellow even bigger than that. So now I'm up to 12 cards that are not attack actions. As far as like my attacks, I've kept pretty much everything the same. 100 wins is still in here. Got 1 blackout kick, 3 enlightened strike, 3 snatches, 3 leg taps. I add in 1 more rise and knee thrust. I want to try to get this line off more and more. I'm just loving the leg tap line so far. It's the most consistent damage output in the deck. Soul Beat Strike, still playing with that, right? At red and blue. I love the 3 block with the potential of 2 and go again. Playing this late in the chain off like even bigger than that turns is giving me mass draw so many times because the opponent just fully blocked out. I drew into a Soul Bead Strike or something like that, and then off a snatch with go again, and then played Soul Bead Strike for 2 or something like that. So it's just been really useful for that. Still running 1 Hurricane Technique. Added in the 2 yellow Surging Strikes back in. So I'm playing around now with trying to know when I want to put attacks in and out. So what I'll end up doing is I'll take the yellow Surging Strikes out in like the Guardian matchups mainly because they can just cover it up so easy. And I add in 2 yellow Fluster Fists, or red Fluster Fists, excuse me. Red Fluster Fists, so I'll take these out during that matchup. Other than that, I keep the Surging Strikes in if it's not a Guardian matchup. And then I still run 16 blues total. or 15 blues, sorry, 2 fine centers, 1 lunging press, that's 3, 3 winds of eternity, 3 lord of wind, 9, 3 whelming gust wave is 12, and 3 soul beat strike is 15. I've toyed with the fact of taking out the soul beat strikes and putting in blue 100 winds, but I still like the 3 block. I don't want to take out blue whelming gust wave because if anything, I use those for at the worst. If I draw into one of those, I discard it for Katsu, and then I can go get it later with Lord of Wind. It's just really good for targets. Yeah. My deck is centered, if anyone hasn't watched this before, my deck is centered around on-hit effects and consistent go again and, effects if you don't block out. Basically, I'm trying to force the opponent to block as much as possible. I'm still running my 1 yellow Salt the Wound. It's the only one-of card I have in the deck. I usually tell people not to run one-of cards, but I had 59 cards, and I just love Salt the Wound in the main board. It's just such a great card. For the sideboard, we used to be running 3 red removables. Now we're only running 2. I keep going back and forth with this, but 2 seems to be the most consistent. I put these in against the Guardian matchup, obviously. I don't put any other D-Reacts in. I'm basically trying to use these, put these in Arsenal, and use these during their swing turns. If I don't see them, then I don't see them type thing. Sync blows, using in a lot of maybe the go wide matchups. You could even try putting these in against the Starva matchups. You have 5 D reacts, and then you try to use this to cycle your hand, which is really nice. The 2 red flush of fist, I took out the 2 fine centers I had, or whatever, 2 blue flush of fist, whatever you want to call it, and put in the reds. I'm not going to run 17 blues. I'm just going to stick to 15 blues. Because it's a good number for me. I enjoy that number as far as like how much it's never been a problem for me. I run the 2 Fluster Fists in place of Yellow Surging Strike, and against hands that are going to tax me a lot. So if I'm playing against a Guardian or against an Ice Lexi or just a Lexi in general, just to be safe, I'll take out the Yellow Surging Strikes because one with Lexi, she's going to tax you more, and a 2 for 4 is already enough of a ask anyway. With Katsu, but if you give me a Frostbite, now all of a sudden I might pay 3 for a 4 cost go again. It's just not worth it, right? So I take those out because the likelihood of getting them off is really low and being effective, and I put in a Flush Fist. For Guardian, again, if he's making me discard every now and then, I don't want to seize in my hand when I only have 2 or 3 card hands. It just bricks your hand. Yes, you can pitch them and play a different card, but you can't pitch them for Kodachis. So again, it's just not a fun card to have in your hand when you're getting taxed a lot. So I put the blue Flush Fist in there. 2 Null Rune I'm still running. Sync Blows we talked about. The 2 Command and Conquers for like the Ranger matchup, the Viscerai matchup is really, really, really where it's relevant right now. Even the Chain matchup. It's not as useful in Guardian because they're just going to crown out at instant speed when you do it. So it's not as big of a deal. Flick Flax I also have in here for go wide decks. Chain's still very big in the meta right now. So is Briar. So sometimes I like to have Flick Flax because sometimes you don't have a choice, right? You don't want to block as a Katsu, but sometimes you don't have a choice. So I'm running Sinks and Flick Flax, and I run these depending on what the matchup is. If it's a matchup where I want to cycle my hand more to try to have consistent threats, then I'll use Sink Belows. If it's a matchup that's going to go really wide, like a Chain or a Briar, or heck, even a Levia if they play that good wide build, Flick Flax are more useful. But the sideboard I'm still playing around with, trying a bunch of different things. That's where I have right now. The big changes I made were even bigger than that at yellow. Running 2 of these has really helped the gas of the deck to keep going and play really well. And then the other big change I kind of made was I think that was the biggest change. And then I added 1 Rise and Neath Rise. I took out like the Break Tide line. I took out a couple other things that I was testing. Took out different things I was doing. Just trying to tighten the deck up and make it as tight as possible. With my ratios, and so far it's been really good. But going forward, looking at using this deck, this is the deck I'll probably take into the first ProQuest. I missed the first one I was supposed to go to because of the Dallas move. My events have been pushed back, sadly, just because of life, which is totally fine. Still playing Armory, still playing like online stuff. Just haven't been able to go where I want to go. Worst comes to worst, I'll just go to like the end of the ProQuest season and then also go to the Battle Hardened. That's a Blitz, but Battle Hardened in Dallas. And other future events. So hopefully y'all are liking the content and enjoying it. This is the weekly update. I'll put the current updated list down below in the description. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the content. Please let me know what other type of stuff you want to see. I have a ton of ideas for Katsu, like just fun stuff, but I want to make sure I'm giving you all a lot of value that you all would enjoy. So just let me know. But if you like the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you don't want to, it's totally fine. Go to another Flesh and Blood creator, do something on their channel so they can be seen more. get more people seeing this game. And I hope y'all's ProQuest season is going good. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all guys next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.